The Mariners are one win away from a World Series, the first World Series. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the series analysis episode of the Seattle Baseline Podcast. My name is Julian Smith, and I'm with Alex Hong. Alex, this is the last off day in the Blue Jays series, and 3-2 right now. The Mariners need one more win. We have two more games. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, Julian, there's a lot to dissect and digest in this series. I mean, this has been a pretty crazy series so far. The Mariners, right? We talked about how in the pre series episode, how we're coming off a tough series win against the Tigers, where our bullpen and all our pitchers were taxed. And then we somehow won the first two games, or especially the first game was against Kevin Gossman, which was crazy, 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 right? So then the Mariners leave Toronto up 2-0. And then the Mariners get kind of destroyed in games three and four, and the momentum went back to Toronto. And then in game five, crazy game. Gino, what a grand slam. I mean, he's been struggling all postseason, but he finally came through. That was a crazy atmosphere, crazy game, game five. I mean, wow. Well, it was crazy to see. But look, the Mariners, we are literally just one win away. We need to win one out of the next two games, and then we're in first ever World Series. And this would be against the LA Dodgers because the Dodgers already have made the World Series. They swept the Brewers. So this is going to be a pretty stressful next 2 days. I mean, yeah.
I mean, like, to make it short and sweet, my reaction to the Dodgers sweeping the Milwaukee Brewers was, "Oh my gosh! Like what happened?"
Yeah.
Milwaukee had the best record. The Dodgers swept them. Now they're out. I was kind of looking for the Milwaukee versus Seattle World Series. I was hoping for that to happen, but Seattle's still alive, and we're alive and well. We just need one more win. It's we Eugenio Suarez, you just mentioned. I think he made a swing change mid postseason that I found actually really crazy. Like his bat seems to be a little bit more upright in the setup position. I'm surprised. I think the Mariners are all in. Just whatever changes you need to make, whatever you need to do to succeed, we're gonna do it because we're gonna pull out all the stops. We talked about Dan Wilson last time, and his management pulling out all the stops. The Mariners as a whole, they're pulling out every single stop. They they weren't going to lose that game in game five. They came out there. They had just lost the last two games, giving up 13 in the third game and 8 in the fourth game. They were not going to lose that. Bryce Miller played exactly the way that Dan Wilson needed him to. The bullpen locked it down, and then the offense scores 6 runs. Sorry. Um, that is literally not taking any chances baseball, and that's exactly what we need.
Yeah, and I think Dan Wilson should continue to be aggressive down the stretch. I mean, especially in these last two games. They're basically do or die must win games. I mean, against the Blue Jays. And right, and I like him doing the quick hook. If Logan Gilbert comes out in game six, who is the starting pitcher, and he's not going well, you gotta take him out. We cannot I mean, if it's regular season, we probably just keep him in and see if he can figure it out. But we don't have time for him to have like 3 innings after giving up like 5 runs to figure it out. He needs to figure it out from the start. And if he doesn't, then we got to find someone else to figure it out. So I like the aggressiveness. The Blue Jays can hit. Their offense is really, really good. So we cannot take chances on this. I mean, because if the Blue Jays score a few runs the first few innings, then who knows how many runs they'll score the rest of the game. So it's going to be really important for our starting pitching to do well. Um, my question is, Julian, our game six, the matchup is going to be Gilbert for the Mariners and Trey Savage on the Blue Jays. And Trey Savage, we have seen him earlier in this series, and the Mariners completely lit him up. So, what are we looking for? How do we finish this series in game six before we even think about going to a game seven? Because it wouldn't be necessary.
Um, you have to think about the splitter. You have to think about the splitter and the fastball. Once you figure out which pitch is coming, I think you might as well just take the 50-50 chance. If you see a ball in fastball arm motion anywhere, you might as well swing at it. If it's a splitter, that's too bad. You just swung on and missed. But if it's a fastball, it's out of the ballpark. I think the Mariners, they're at this point where, I mean, we've talked about this many, many times, but they need to hunt pitches. Julio Rodriguez works extremely well. That's how he beat Tarek Skubal during the regular season. Is he hunted his changeup? We can do that again. We hunt the fastball. You've got the best fastball hitter in Cal Raleigh, who's hitting home runs left and right. You've got Eugenio Suarez, who looks like a beast right now with that swing change. You've got Jorge Polanco, who's been scoring the winning run for you for almost 2 series in a row. You've got Julio Rodriguez, star player. All of these guys, if they know what pitch they need to hunt, that's what they'll do. And they will destroy it out of this ballpark. Every single hitter in this Mariners lineup is able to hit a home run. And so the Mariners, I think, go into this game thinking, I want to destroy whatever comes my way, whether it's a single or a double. You're shooting it through the gap, you're hitting it up for a home run, anything. You want to hit the ball with the barrel, hunt the fastball, hunt the splitter, hunt everything.
Yeah, and I mean, our bottom of the order. I mean, we made a lineup change in game five. I think we moved Randy off the leadoff spot, moved him down because he's been struggling. And then we moved up Julio to lead off. And I think it was pretty good because we had our hot hitters hit like back to back, like at the top of the order to get them as many swings as possible, which I think is pretty huge. And even Gino, like Gino wasn't playing amazing, but he still had a hit in every game before the last game. So people who were saying he was absolutely terrible, he wasn't like absolutely terrible, but he had his big moment, right? And hopefully this continues and like fires up the entire team because frankly, the bottom of the order has been doing nothing. Like removed Victor Robles from the lineup because he wasn't hitting. Dom Canzone, he hasn't been hitting at all in the postseason. So we've had far more problems than like Gino, which a lot of people I know were like really upset at Gino for his performance, even though I don't even think it was that bad. But I mean, Gino shut all the haters up, I guess, in that last game he played. But yeah, I think our offense still needs to do better. Even if that last game we had won, before the eighth inning, we were doing nothing. Like we were absolutely doing nothing. And I know we were against Kevin Gosman, but in games three and four, we weren't doing much at all either. And I know those games got out of hand and we didn't really have a much chance to win those because the pitching blew up. But still, our offense wasn't doing anything. So we weren't going to win that game basically no matter what, especially the fourth game. We scored like 2 runs. That's not going to win you many games at all. So we need our offense to be more consistent and string hits together. And I know this team has relied on the home run ball. Most of our runs come from the home run, but if we can find a way to score more runs in other means, such as just getting regular base hits, our team's doing really good job of drawing walks. But the problem is we draw the walk and then we get into a double play, or then we strike out and then we fly out or something, right? And then that ends the inning. We got to be able to take advantage. When we get runners on base through walks or for whatever means, we got to do our best to get them in because teams that do the best with runners in scoring position, they are always the ones who win.
Yeah. And one of the big things that the Mariners have done this postseason, and this is the reason why they're still in this postseason, is because of the runners in scoring position stat. They they've struggled all season with runners in scoring position, and in the playoffs, they've been exceptional at it, better than any team has. And so, if the Mariners can keep on getting those runners in, a single scores a guy from second base. A fly out, if you're less than or equal to 1 out, scores a guy from third base. It's it's really not too difficult when it comes to something that scores someone from scoring position. That's why it's called scoring position. Getting someone in from first, that's hard. But getting someone in from second, relatively easy. And so if we can continue to do what we're doing, yeah, we'll win this because we'll score runs almost automatically at that point.
There's one other thing I want to talk about in that, like, first of all, Cal Raleigh, he had an unbelievable regular season, but he's also having an unbelievable postseason. And one of the craziest things that happened, there was actually a lot of crazy things that happened in the ALCS, like the ground into double play from like center field for the Brewers Dodgers game, which was crazy, right? But then we had the Cal Raleigh, like basically it was a bunt, like it was the bunt that went like 1 foot off home plate, double play. That was a crazy double play that kept us in that game in game five. If that, like, for example, didn't happen, then who knows how many runs the Blue Jays could have scored that inning because they looked like they were on fire. So, I mean, sometimes we got to get a little lucky, but hey, I mean, it worked. And one thing to say is like, right? Even though the Mariners, they were struggling out there, they were struggling in the first few innings, couldn't get it going, right, on offense, but they had an inning where they got it together and then they pulled out a monster inning and blew things up, and the Blue Jays didn't. So, right? And I mean, there's 9 innings in a game, and even if it's not going well in the first few innings, the Mariners, they are a big threat, right? They rely on the home run, and the good thing is, if you do rely on the home run, any inning you can be a threat. Like if the Brewers were down 4 runs, that team doesn't hit very many home runs at all. 4 runs feels a lot harder for the Brewers to come back from than the Mariners. So that's an advantage we definitely have.
Yeah, I mean, Eugenio Suarez showed it. If he gets a grand slam, that's 4 runs immediately. The Mariners have the ability to walk. They're really good at that. JP Crawford, Leo Rivas, those two are really good at walking and getting base hits. Getting on first, those guys are really good at. And then you've got Julio Rodriguez, you've got Cal Raleigh, you've got Jorge Polanco. All three of these guys hit home runs, let alone you've got Josh Naylor who's hitting home runs, Gino hitting home runs. You've got you've got everybody. It's like wow. You look across the whole lineup, and then you look at the bottom of the order. They're hitting all the singles. They're setting up for your big guys, and then your big guys. It's not just your top three of the order. It's like top six, including Dom Canzone. Every single one of these six guys has a pretty good chance of hitting a home run. This Mariners team, it's it's looking great because the power that the Mariners have is unreal. And if the bottom of the order can keep on moving the line forward, and then the top of the order destroys home run balls, that's the recipe to success. That's the real recipe for an offensive success for a home run team like the Mariners.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the Blue Jays, they got a good offense too, but we can't be letting guys like Andres Jimenez, like those guys destroy us because that's what was happening in the third and fourth game. Like it's one thing to get destroyed by Vlad Guerrero Jr., Springer, who I think will play in game six, it looks like. So his knee's doing okay because that was a brutal hit by pitch. Alejandro Kirk, they have all these good guys, right? But we can't be getting beaten up by like Addison Barger or like Isaiah kind of Falefa. Like that bottom of the order is not that good for the Blue Jays. So we gotta do our job, right? And we gotta be able to trust our guys. Like and also like I like what Dan Wilson's doing. If like George Springer's coming up or Vladdy's coming up and there's an open base, put him on base. I'd rather face like I think Santander has been injured, but if that was him
Kirk,
behind the order, right? Or if it's now Kirk hitting after, I'd rather face him than Guerrero. So we got to make these smart decisions and try to do the best we can and play by the matchups. I mean, we put in Gabe Spire, right? And he does really good against lefties. And he's been struggling a little bit this postseason. But if we want to put in Spire, we got to put him in the best position to succeed. And that's against other lefties. So, yeah, I think we got to playing by the matchups pretty important. One other thing I want to say is it was good to see Brian Wu out there, and I know he didn't play it that good, but it was nice to see him back, and maybe he'll get ready to come into the bullpen again and pitch in game six or in game seven if we really need to. But yeah, from here on out, Julian, it's all hands on deck. We have a big amount of rest between game seven and the first game of the World Series if we do make it. So I assume both the Mariners and the Blue Jays will go all in, right?
yeah,
But the Mariners have the advantage going all in because we have four good starters. that are able to pitch, especially in the last game, which the Blue Jays do not. The Blue Jays have Gosman. Yeah, Savage is going to pitch today, so he won't pitch tomorrow. So, I mean, they're going to be throwing out like Max Scherzer, who did play well, I mean, respectively, but we have the advantage. We have the pitching advantage the rest of the way. So we have to take advantage of that. We got to score more runs.
Absolutely, especially with the back end of the bullpen. They don't have an Andres Munoz. They don't have a Matt
Yeah, they
Brash.
don't have a good bullpen at all.
Yeah. And so I think there's a lot to be said about how good the Mariners are doing. And the big takeaway for me is that this is fun. Like it's so fun watching on TV. I know I'm in Pennsylvania right now. I can't really go to the stadium. I know you did. I know you did,
No, I
Alex.
did. I went to game four.
Yeah. But it's been so fun. The energy that I feel through the TV from this crowd, the energy that I have in my own room. Sorry, roommates, but yeah, it's been super fun. And so I I think I'll watch these two games from an analytical lens, but also I'm just looking to have a great time. I really hope we make the first World Series, and yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah, and I was able to go to game four, and I know the Mariners did not play very well at all, but yeah, the crowd was really hyped, and especially from the early on, right? Everyone was fired up, and I can't imagine how it was in game five when Suarez hit the home run. So, yeah, the Mariners, we're not going to play back at T-Mobile Park unless we make the World Series. So if the Mariners want that crowd to go electric and the fans to be hyped, because I'm telling you, the fans are hyped. The fans really want this. I took the I think it's called the Link down to the stadium on Thursday, and everybody basically in the train was like was either going to the Mariners or like rooting for the Mariners, right? So everyone's hyped. The entire city of Seattle wants it because we haven't had this in like 24 years, and it was before we were born. And the Mariners have never been to the World Series ever, so no Mariners fan has actually experienced this, no matter how old they are. So it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for a Mariners fan, and we were literally just one win away. So the Mariners were so close. We definitely can get there. But yeah, it'll be fun to watch, and hopefully they'll be able to make the World Series and come back to T-Mobile Park because a World Series is going to be electric.
Yeah, hit all the home runs you can, score like 10 runs, and the Blue Jays aren't going to catch you. Yeah, that as long as we do that, right? We get the pitching staff, we get the offense, we win the game. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our beautiful faces on YouTube. Check out our Instagram, and as always, go Mariners. Go.
Go Mariners.
Yep.